right, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you, everyone, for joining. The name of this title is Affiliate Marketing's Past, Present, and High Stakes Future. I'm Oliver Roup, founder and CEO of VigLink, and with me I have Leigh Montville, the BD Director at The Daily Beast. Welcome.
Hi. Thanks very much.
So, in years past, we've gotten the feedback that hearing direct from sort of the really big-scaled publishers would be an interesting thing, and so I'm really excited about the opportunity to talk to Leigh here. The Daily Beast, I hope, is a publication you've all heard of, and I will ask my first question to Leigh. Tell us let's start with who are you and what is the Daily Beast?
So my name is Leigh Montville. I've been at the Daily Beast for about a year and a half, and I oversee business development, working closely with our editorial team, finance, dev, and sales teams. I oversee affiliate commerce, e-commerce, podcasts, content syndication, and content recommendations. So basically what we would call ancillary revenue. The Daily Beast, as many of you, hopefully almost all of you, if not all of you, are readers. We're at dailybeast.com, thedailybeast.com. We have over 20 million unique readers every month, and we are often making and breaking news. We talk about ourselves as intelligent, irreverent, and intellectual. Intellectual, sorry, I'm a little nervous here. The last time I was speaking in front of a lot of people, I was actually officiating a wedding. So, anyways, so we pride ourselves on our independence and offering an independent point of view, an intelligent point of view, and an irreverent point of view. So a point of view that you're not going to see or hear anywhere else. So when I joined the Daily Beast, one of my charges was to look into and to identify areas where we could grow ancillary revenue. So that was looking at things like our existing relationships, growing those, or identifying partners where we could work to grow those business lines. So one of the things that I looked into and obviously embraced was affiliate commerce.
Great, thank you. And do you have a long background in publishing?
Yes. So I worked, prior to the Daily Beast, I worked for a lifetime at Condé Nast, doing licensing across all of the brands. Again, working closely with editorial, sales, the dev team to identify and execute opportunities to grow ancillary revenue.
So just for some of our audience who may not know, what are some of the Condé Nast properties?
Sure. Primarily I worked with the New Yorker, Wired, GQ, Arc Digest, Vogue, and Vanity Fair. And over the years, I was there many years, so I saw many magazines open and close.
So, 8 to 10 years ago, when you were at Condé Nast, do you think that those properties would have considered affiliate marketing as a revenue channel?
I think no. Back then, I think that primarily at big scale publishers like Condé Nast, they were often relying primarily upon print advertising, some on digital advertising, but the idea of partnering and exploring these areas was something that was somewhat foreign.
So what do you think changed?
I think some of the economic realities, certainly at the Daily Beast, we're a digital first property, so we don't have a print edition. At Condé Nast, they obviously still have print editions, the New Yorker being a weekly, the others being monthlies. I think that publishers, as the print advertising market changed, and as we've seen in newspapers, magazines, my father was a sports writer for many, many years, so I certainly know a lot about the newspaper and the magazine industry. It changed, and so publishers had to adapt and change accordingly and look into what other ways could they, generate revenue.
Certainly we've observed over the years that the tenor and the makeup of who arrives at Affiliate Summit and what the show floor looks like has changed significantly, and I would say gone more mainstream. Certainly, I can't imagine 10 years ago seeing the Daily Beast or any of the Condé properties here.
Sure, absolutely. I think that for us, it's a way to utilize an event like this to learn more about what other companies are doing out there, what opportunities there are, and to talk about our own experience and what's happened for us.
Great. Well, so why don't we jump into that? What is the Daily Beast doing to leverage affiliate commerce?
So with affiliate commerce, I mean, most publishers work, of course, with Amazon. We work with them, but we also obviously work with VigLink. For us, it's looking at what are there ways that we can utilize affiliate commerce in a way that doesn't impact our journalistic integrity, that addresses our concerns for making sure that the commerce is reflective of who we are, and then also for us looking dynamically at how do we grow commerce in general. So everything from affiliate commerce to e-commerce to other opportunities that may present themselves. And at the same time, my role looking and working with my colleagues on the sales team where there are tools and ways that we can partner together internally, whether it's with affiliate commerce, whether it's with other commerce providers, to create more opportunities for our direct advertisers.
So is there any sort of tension internally between, you talked about maintaining the journalistic integrity.
Sure.
I'm sure some part of the org is charged with more sales and some part of the org is resistant. How does that play out?
I think that the primary thing is whenever you're in a role like business development or maintaining this type of relationship, it's critical that the person that's doing that is able to work dynamically across the various parts of the company. So for me, having worked a lifetime at Condé, I certainly experienced all sorts of folks, from junior folks to the publishers and the editors, many of whom you probably recognize and know well. And I think building the trust and partnering with them is critical. For me, what I love about my role is that partnership where I can utilize my talents and then continue to grow, and with my colleagues explain and then learn from them and iterate, and then with our partners, our affiliate commerce partners, share that knowledge and then grow that relationship as well.
Got it. What do you think you've learned about the relationship between a publisher and an advertiser? Like, I'm sure you've had some successful and less successful interactions. Maybe you could tell us about that.
Sure. I mean, my end, I don't really deal a lot with a lot of the direct advertisers. I think for the industry in general, and certainly, again, with my experience at Condé, many of my former colleagues have moved on to many of the other big legacy publishers, as well as the dynamic digital-first publishers. For that, overall, I think it's the advertising business. It's how do we stand out? What differentiates us from other companies out there? And that's something where, for me, how do I marry what I'm able to bring to the table with that?
So if an advertiser in the audience is hoping to get covered in the Daily Beast, or publications like it, what sort of general strategies do you suggest, or are there any?
Well, certainly reach out to me.
Okay.
Definitely do that. I think that, for us, we see, and the publishing industry in general, it's looking at programmatic has become a very key part of things, of business. The direct advertisers, it's really what are ways that we can deliver for those advertisers to that audience? We talk a lot at the Daily Beast about our loyal audience. Those are those dedicated users who come to us time and time again every month. And what does that audience provide an advertiser? And in fact, we deliver a very desirable audience to advertisers, from a household income, from education level, from a lot of millennials to Gen X. Gen what?
So an affiliate advertiser, more particularly,
Sure.
someone who might be here.
Yeah.
What is there someone that you have in mind? Like, obviously you seem to understand well who your audience is.
Sure. I think for us, from affiliate advertiser perspective, these would really need to be partners that reflect a lot of who we are, which is they are on the premium end. They are partners that are engaged and want to work with us to create a custom opportunity that could work well. I think for us, it's really critical to develop those relationships, because in the end, for me, what I like to do with my partners is develop this relationship and then continue it and to grow it and to think creatively of how can we take it to the next level.
So that's a great segue, actually. What are some of the things you're doing, not necessarily with a single advertiser, but just broadly speaking, to grow the affiliate business over, the time you've already been here or that maybe you see in the future?
So it's identifying opportunities, perhaps one-off opportunities or other opportunities that may present themselves or that we can seek out where a affiliate advertiser wants to work with us, but maybe they're not going to run a full campaign with us. How do we, dialoguing and identifying a way to, to fulfill that.
Got it. So what are some of the challenges you see trying to do affiliate commerce at the Daily Beast?
Actually, can I take a show of hands? How many people read the Daily Beast in the audience? How many have heard of it? All right. All right. The homework is to go home and read it, please. And to click on the affiliate links, of course. Sorry, say the question again. I apologize.
What are some of the challenges to growing?
Sure. I think for us, our primary bread and butter is news, politics, and entertainment. And I think, for publishers like us and many of those kind of in our competitor set, it's how do you create those opportunities for affiliate commerce when you have, how shall I say, articles or topics that could be a little bit more sensitive. And so one of the critical things is working with your partner to identify how do we exclude or create, or look at specific situations, whether it's identifying certain verticals and what language we allow or what keywords we allow, and go from there. Same things with affiliate advertisers that would come to us.
So affiliate links out of crime stories is not so great for the brand.
It could be challenging. It could be challenging.
Fair enough. I understand that the Daily Beast is part of a larger organization with a number of properties.
Yeah, so we're part of IAC Publishing, which is part of IAC Interactive Corp. So many of you have probably heard of the Match Group, Match, Tinder, etc. That's part of our larger company. In our building, we also have Vimeo, College Humor, and then part of IAC Publishing, we have Dotdash, which used to be About.com and is located across the street, and Investopedia. So we really kind of stand out. We're a little bit different than the rest of our partners, but it's also, or our brethren, but it's also something where, for me, I'm curious about what ways we can potentially, work together down the road.
Got it. If someone in the audience is a part of a publishing entity, which I'm sure would be much smaller than certainly than the Daily Beast and certainly than IAC, but has the mandate to sort of grow some affiliate revenue within their org, what do you suggest a great set of first steps?
Well, I think number one, it's look at your content and where is there an opportunity to do that. Two, communicate within the company. So for me, for example, at my end, that's addressing those opportunities with the senior management, which runs the gamut from editorial to business to tech, to talk about what the lift is going to be, and then to research and then identify that partner that's really going to fit your DNA.
Got it. Either from your own experience or the experience you've heard through colleagues, can there be resistance within an org, and what are the general objections and how do you overcome them?
Sure, I think that there can be resistance to it, but I think the key again is having those relationships internally, and then being open and honest about what you're looking to do, what is the lift, who's going to, what mechanisms are in place to address potential issues that could come up. For some of my friends who work at some of the other larger publishers than us, because we're really not a huge conglomerate like Condé, Meredith, Hearst, et cetera, Rodale. These are publishers where they offer a variety of brands, some of which are much more suited to that. I mean, I know, for example, you all work with Rodale, and they have some brands that are naturally probably aligned with that. And so certainly navigating the waters within the company, but then also that critical relationship with the affiliate commerce advertiser or partner. How are we going to work together to make this? What is the landscape of what we're going to do? What can we deliver for you all? What can you deliver for us?
Right. I think you may be unusual sort of in the building in the sense that your publication was a publication first and decided to add affiliate commerce after. And I'm sure a number of people in the building decided to do affiliate first and then came up with the publication that fit their niche second.
But I think that it is something where whatever the business is, publishers are looking at this. I'll give you another example. At Condé, I oversaw what they call the brand validation. Those are the lists of like best products, best this, best that. And that was something where we grew the business. And it really was an incredible opportunity.
Got it. Where do you see this all going? Like, what are we going to be talking about 5 years from now up here?
Well, I think we're certainly going to be talking about how have the affiliate commerce companies, advertisers, how shall I say, further developed their products. And for us, it's what are the ways that we can grow those relationships with the affiliate advertisers and look at it as something, how are we going to work with you now, 3 months, 6 months, 2 years down the road? I mean, like I said before, I'm a believer that, when you develop the relationship, if it's a successful relationship, you want to plot out how you're going to grow that. I think I'd be curious to hear where you see it going at your end.
That's a great question. I think the transformation we've seen over the last 5 years is a set of publishers who were publishers first. Affiliate became approachable to them, right? I think if you were making a bespoke publication just for affiliate, that's been going on a decade. But I think the work of doing affiliates, for a publisher who was a publisher first was generally too high for the reward. Yeah. And, software technologies like VigLink and others, I think we've made a big stride in trying to make that approachable to a non-technical publishing first audience. And I suspect all the tricks of display about retargeting, localization, are all going to apply within the affiliate world, over the next several years.
Cool.
Anything else you want to chat about before we open it?
Who are some of the other publishers besides the Daily Beast, of course, that you're proud of?
Thank you. We work with MSN, we work with Rodale, we work with Bonnier, Martha Stewart, Cycling.com. I think the ones that where the audience, I think what you said about being true to your audience is very important. Yeah. I think your audience can tell when you're trying to jam something in that doesn't fit, and so the publications that work best with us are those that are naturally commercial in nature. Yeah. Cycling, outdoor sports, fashion, travel, entertainment. I think hard news actually is a challenge, so it's great that we've been able to work together. And the not linking out of a crime story, that I will confess that was this vendor that made that mistake. Anyway, I definitely think it's interesting to observe how the industry has changed over time. I obviously mobile is trending towards all the traffic. We see more and more traffic from international audiences, even for American pubs. Yeah. What do you see on that front?
We see that as well. I think that for us, we still have a very loyal desktop audience, and for us, because a lot of people are looking at the Daily Beast during the day when they're at work. We have our cheat sheet, which is kind of a news summary that's unique and it's updated throughout the day. So people are engaged with that, and we'll see.
Great, thank you. That's a great segue. We've been asked to leave some time at the end for questions. So there's a microphone in the center of the room. If you're going to ask a big successful publisher, what to do next in affiliate marketing, now is your chance. Any questions?
What do I think about split commissions? Is this an incentive for you?
The question was, what do we think about split commissions? Is this an incentive? And I think this is where a publisher is paid not just on a conversion, but on sort of earlier clicks in the clickstream.
Potentially. I think for us, going back to the point that we talked about before regarding our audience, it's what is the implication upon our audience? Is there an effect on the user experience? If there's no effect, then potentially it's something we would consider.
Thank you. Great question. Any others? Always an awkward moment.
That's okay. That's okay.
I think have you looked at some of the more what's the right word, intrusive commerce tech, where like a store, like a Daily Beast store, or a what other kinds of things are you doing?
Well, we actually have a daily offer that we do and have kind of been testing a commerce element, but not in an intrusive way. I think for us, one of the things we see, and I can say this personally for me, for the sites I go to outside of the Daily Beast, I've noticed personally a trend in one or two directions. Some sites have become oversaturated with advertising. Other sites are maintaining that. So, something like the Times, I'm getting a fairly good user experience, but I pay a monthly fee to access it. Other more entertainment sites I go to or cultural sites, it really has changed enormously. And that intrusiveness is something that as a user, at least for me personally, it can impact my experience and my desire to move further. I think for us, looking at our loyal audience, our audience, how do we grow that audience, the loyal audience, but in a way that's going to not upset the balance as it is.
Got it. Can you tell me about something you've ever said no to, leaving names out, of course, but what is something that has been not appropriate for the Daily Beast?
I think I've definitely been approached by companies that want to insert a lot of widgets, and that would likely have a very negative effect on our user experience. And I think for us, again, going back to what I talked about at the beginning, my role working across the different parts of the company, it is really critical to have that communication, to partner with people internally. And, I've said no to companies that would be providing us with things that were not up to our what we would consider our standards.
Got it. How much time do you spend thinking about Google and SEO traffic, and where does your traffic come from more generally?
Direct, social. We have a fair amount of traffic that comes from Yahoo, and it's fascinating to see because we often will have pieces that will hit, and they'll be about a variety of topics. So that's very exciting to see the trends when those things happen. So, check out our Game of Thrones articles. We have tons and tons on Game of Thrones.
So even hard news can do, and it's entertainment as well.
Yes, and entertainment, absolutely, yeah. And it's fascinating to see. And for me, how do I partner with, on the content syndication end, how do I partner with companies and entities that will share our content and amplify our presence?
Do you see a trade-off between, I think typically with affiliate you're sending someone off-site to buy something, and obviously the incremental page view is useful. How do you balance that trade-off?
Well, I think For us, the key thing is monitoring it and making sure we're aware of what the impact is. We have in our cheat sheet the summaries. Many of those links at the bottom will link to articles off site. So it's seeing what's the level of engagement, how many people are leaving, and then where we need to addressing it.
Got it. So final question, and
Yep.
I think we're out of time. What's the sort of one key piece of advice you'd give to a publisher trying to get into the business today?
To a publisher as opposed to an affiliate commerce advertiser?
That's right.
So
to
a publisher, I would say be open to listening to what the potential partners have to offer. Be willing to test and iterate and see what might be possible, and then if it's successful, figure out how do we grow that relationship, and even have that kind of in mind early on in the process. And if it isn't successful or it doesn't work out, then try something else.
Got it. Great. Well, thank you very much. Really appreciate the chat, and thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you.